Welcome back to the Nuckhead podcast. It's been a bittersweet week. The Canucks are winning for the most part, which is good, but they've been hit hard by the injury bug already. Teddy Blueger's out, Jonathan Lekkerimäki's out, Nils Höglander is still out, and obviously the really unfortunate one is Filip Chytil. He's out with what we're hoping isn't a concussion, although it doesn't look great. I did hear some people talking about how the fact that he flew home after that injury might be a good sign, because apparently flying while concussed is not the best idea. So unless the Canucks medical staff made a boo-boo, that is a good sign, I think. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm just repeating what I read, probably on Twitter, so I don't even know why I'm repeating it. Anyways, in this episode, we're going to talk about everything, the last week of hockey. I'll respond to some of what you guys are saying, and I actually have a trade proposal that I want to run by you guys. So yeah, let's get into it. First of all, a few updates regarding the Nuckhead channel. Pipe Dreamz, the Be a Pro series I'm doing, is switching from a weekly series to a bi-weekly series. So if you're following that, just know that it's going to be coming out every second Sunday now. And then, I guess this isn't really an update. It's more of a correction. Actually, it is a correction. In the video I posted on Wednesday, the game recap, I made a mistake by saying the Washington Capitals are the defending President's Trophy winners, which isn't true. They came second. Winnipeg won the President's Trophy last year. That's my bad. I think it was just in my head that the Capitals won because they were in first place for the majority of the year. Or I don't even know if I want to say that, because now that might be wrong. My mistake, okay? Whatever. Who cares? Jets fans, I guess, but whatever. Anyway, the Canucks are winning. As of recording this, they have a record of 4-3, which is pretty good considering they've been on the road for the majority of the season and all the injury troubles they've run into. Now, as usual, I'm recording this on Thursday and you're hearing it on Friday, so I don't know what happened in last night's game against the Predators. I'm assuming it's a win, so I'll go ahead and say the Canucks are 5-3 right now. I never assume a Canucks loss. I don't know if I even have that in me. But yeah, we're not going to be talking about last night's game because I can't tell the future. I'll give a more serious prediction on what I think is going to happen later in the episode. So if you want to hear that, just wait to the end. But yeah, I'm pretty upset right now, to be honest. Filip Chytil, we're in a purgatory right now. We don't know what the hell's going on with him. If it's confirmed to be a concussion and then he does come back in however many weeks or months, is it even going to be fun to watch him play? Like, I don't want to see, seeing him get hit. The Canucks were up 3-0 when that hit happened, and we're up 4-0 shortly after. And, the Canucks being up 4-0 usually has me bouncing off the walls in excitement. And I'm sure, just like so many of you guys watching, I just had this pit in my stomach. I felt terrible. Not just because the Canucks lost one of their best forwards. I mean, that's not even the main the main thing is I feel like I just watched a guy's career end. Think about the hit that he took from Jason Dickinson in the game against the Blackhawks at the end of last season. It didn't seem nearly as bad as this one. He got hit by Tom Wilson at full speed. He might as well have been in a plane crash. Like, that dude is a freight train on skates. I don't even know how he's allowed to play. I am aware that the Canucks might issue a statement on Chytil's injury sometime in between me finishing this podcast and posting it. But as of right now, the time of recording this, 12:30 p.m. on Thursday, October 23rd, we don't know what's wrong with Chytil. We just know that he got absolutely cranked by the league's best hitter, and he's been placed on IR, injured reserve. So anyway, Chytil's absence from the lineup has shined a very, very bright, hot light on an issue, on a weakness the Canucks have in their roster. And we all knew this coming into the season. We just thought, maybe it'll be okay. Maybe it'll be fine. Chytil, third line center, second line center, we'll see, but maybe it'll be fine. And it was fine, albeit we only saw it for 5 1/3 games, but it was fine until this happened. Of course, the weakness I'm talking about is the Canucks' lack of depth at the center ice position. Past Pettersson, without Chytil in the lineup, you got Ratu, Sasson, Blueger, Oman, and then just a list of guys that have never played more than 10 games in the NHL. I mean, nothing against those guys. None of them are second line centers unless something amazing happens. I'm rooting for Max Sasson in that department, by the way. I'm rooting for all of them, but Sasson, I like his speed, his brain. I don't know. I think if I were to fast forward to the end of the season and someone were to tell me, hey, guess what? One of the Canucks' bottom 6 centers broke out and had an amazing year and is now considered a second-line center, I would bet on that being Max Sasson. But I still don't think a team like the Canucks, who are desperately trying to be a playoff contender again, are all that interested in putting all their eggs in the basket of an Aatu Räty or Max Sasson breakout year as a second-line center. Especially when the whole Elias Pettersson thing is still a question mark. He's been playing way better, don't get me wrong, but, I mean, yeah. So anyways, I'm all over the place. I'm just trying to lead up to this trade that I want to propose here. The Canucks management is apparently scouring the league, calling every GM, trying to see if they can make a trade for somebody. And if it's a second line center they want, like a Pavel Zacha or a Nazem Kadri, they're going to have to pay quite a bit for one of those guys, which, maybe they're willing to do, but it has to be the right guy, right? And it's very unlikely they're going to get a second line center who has term. They're probably going to get a guy who's on the last year of his contract. So if they're going to trade some of their prospects and picks to get one of those guys, they better make sure they can re-sign them, right? Because of that, they're also looking around for third and even fourth line centers, just to get some depth, right? More options to move up and down the lineup. And some of the names that have come up in that conversation are Alex Wennberg from the San Jose Sharks, Cole Sillinger from the Columbus Blue Jackets. Although he's young, he would probably cost a decent amount more than someone like Wennberg. JG Pajot from the Islanders is another one that I've heard floating around. Although, this isn't necessarily rumors coming from those teams saying, oh, this guy's available, this guy's available. It's more just insiders, which I don't even know how insiders get this kind of information, but whatever. It's just insiders naming players the Canucks may or may not be interested in. Lucas Reichel from Chicago is another one. Although he's listed as a left winger right now. I know he can play center, but if he's not cracking the Chicago Blackhawks lineup as a center, I don't know what they really see in him as a center for the Canucks. I'm not trying to talk anyone down because one of these guys could end up being a Canuck in the coming weeks. But yeah, anyways. Okay, so here's what I want to happen, okay? If Pavel Zacha is actually available, go get him. Get him. Go. Run. Go get him. Get him. Get Zacha. Make him a Canuck now. Get him. Do I think he's a second-line center? Yeah, I actually do. In fact, he's played on the first line with David Pastrnak on many occasions over the past few years. I don't know. I would love to see him in a Canucks jersey. Boston is a weird team because they have game breakers on their team. Charlie McAvoy, Jeremy Swayman, and obviously David Pastrnak. So they have the ability to win every game they play just because of those three guys. But Pavel Zacha's in the last year of his contract, and they got some young guys coming up. Like, I don't know. I could see them deciding that this is the year they start a rebuild or a retool. Maybe. But yeah, I don't want to get my hopes too high here. If they were to trade away Zacha, especially this early in the season, it would be a pretty public announcement that they are rebuilding, because they're not going to, unless they have a plan, like let's say the Canucks give up their first round pick to get him, unless Boston uses that pick or those assets they get and quickly flip it for another center or something that they had in mind, which I don't even know why they would do that or what they'd be thinking. It would be like an announcement to their fans and their players that they're retooling or rebuilding. And I don't know if that's something they want to do. So trading Zacha would put themselves in a similar position the Canucks are in right now. Oh, the Canucks have been linked to this player before. I don't know how insiders get their information. Is Elliot Friedman camping outside of these general managers' houses, or is he tapping their phones or something? Is Gary Bettman encouraging general managers and assistant general managers to leak the occasional information so there's something for these pundits to talk about? Anyways, that's a tangent. Where was I? Right. So apparently, and I don't know how, but apparently the Canucks have been linked to Pavel Zacha before. Now that could mean anything from a trade was in the works to they mentioned that they were interested and Boston laughed and hung up the phone. I don't know. But I took a look at Pavel Zacha's trade history because I know he was originally drafted by the Devils, and I kind of forgot how he ended up in Boston. And the trade that brought him to Boston wasn't that crazy. And it makes me think that the Canucks actually could afford him. In 2022, the Devils traded Pavel Zacha to Boston in exchange for Erik Haula, a 1-for-1 deal. And at the time, Zacha was just 25 years old, coming off of a 15-goal, 36-point season in just 70 games, which is roughly a 17-goal, 42-point pace. At 25. Erik Haula was 31 at the time, coming off a 44-point season, 18 goals for him. It was just a 1-for-1 deal. A 31-year-old Haula for a 25-year-old Zacha, and their points were basically the same. Zacha was on a 42-point pace, and Haula was on a 46-point pace. Although the market for centers right now is so weak, Boston would be dumb to trade Zacha for anything that doesn't start with a first-round pick. Depending on what they want, I guess, but if they're trading away Zacha, to me, that signals a retool, so they'd probably want a pick and prospects back. If the Canucks were to get rid of their first-round pick from either this year or next year, I don't know, it doesn't matter, and get someone like Zacha, re-sign him to a, I don't know, 7-year, $7 million deal, $6 million, that could be overpaying. That's not my expertise. My expertise is actually in nothing, fun fact. But yeah, I don't know. I think Zacha would be a really, really good fit. And I'm looking at his jersey right now on this website, and I'm thinking, I want him. I feel like I'm already cheering for him. Please. Now, okay, I also want to talk about the other guy I'd be happy with getting, Alex Wennberg from the San Jose Sharks. This dude is a kind of a weird player because he hasn't really lived up to the, well, let's see where he was drafted. I'm pretty sure he was a high draft pick. Let me just double check that. I don't want to make any more mistakes. Yeah, he was drafted 14th overall by the Columbus Blue Jackets in 2013. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to be a superstar, but yeah, he was thought to be a pretty good playmaking forward or two-way forward. And he's had some success. He's played for a bunch of different teams, though, which usually is a sign that he hadn't really found his footing anywhere. Yeah, so Wennberg's had a 13-goal season, a 17-goal season. The 17-goal one is really promising. That was in 2021 with the Panthers, and he only played 56 games that year. He's got 11 goals, 13 goals, and last year he had 35 points in 77 games. It's third-line material. He's not going to be a second-line guy, but I don't know. He's never really, like the one year he played for a good team, a genuinely good team, was 2020-2021 when he was with the Florida Panthers. 17 goals, 29 points in 56 games is great. That's a 25-goal pace over the course of a full season. So, he has that in him, but he's never really played for a good team other than that year. He's played for the Blue Jackets, the Kraken. He played 19 games with the Rangers a couple years ago, and now he's with the Sharks. And he's also in the final year of his deal. Weirdly enough, he actually makes more than Zacha. It's $5 million a year for him. Like, I guess it's the cap that would make the trade hard. San Jose would have to retain, and that would make the price go up. But I think he's an attainable player and probably worth the experiment. I mean, he's 31 years old, so he's definitely, he's kind of as good as he's going to be. But maybe if you give him different wingers, put him on a team that just utilizes him better. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm spiraling here. Let me know who you guys want the Canucks to get, if you have your eyes on anybody, and also what you'd be willing to give up to get somebody, because that's the biggest question right now. Would they make Willander available? Would they make Lekramaki available? I think the only guy that is truly untouchable, or at least the only prospect that's truly untouchable, is Braden Coots. Everybody else, I kind of think they'd at least think about it. Here's what I would do to get Pavel Zacha, okay? This is about as far as I would go. If Boston were willing to retain half of his salary for the remainder of this year, and we were granted access to speak with him and his agent first to make sure that he'd be willing to re-sign with the Canucks, I would honestly offer not only our first-round pick for this upcoming draft, the McKenna draft, but I think I'd be willing to throw in like a Sawyer Mineo or a Kudryavtsev. I'd be open to moving Willander. I just think if you're going to move him for a guy like Zacha, they're not going to also get a first-round pick. But I don't know, though. Like, we might need to prepare ourselves for a trade that makes us angry, even if it's a good player coming back. Because, yeah, the market right now for centers is thin. There's nobody out there, and everybody, the Canucks have no leverage. Everybody knows the pressure around Quinn Hughes and his future here. Everybody knows that after Elias Pettersson, the Canucks basically have nobody that could even sniff the second line center position. And even Pettersson, a lot of teams around the league aren't sure that he's going to be Pettersson from a few years ago. So when the Canucks come knocking saying, hey, can we have your second line center? Or can we have your young third line center who could be a second line center? Or hey, could we have your third line center who's always going to be a third line center, but we would like him? They'll just be like,
yeah, you can, but it's going to cost you.
I mean, that's what I would do if I was in their position. Why wouldn't you? Even trading for a guy like Alex Wennberg right now might be dumb. See, I'm kind of talking myself out of this now. Interesting. This is almost therapeutic. Let's think about this, okay? I want to hear your thoughts. Right now, I'm spiraling, okay? I'm confused. I don't know where I am. I feel sick. The Canucks are depleted right now, okay? Even if Chytil comes back and was like, man, I actually just caught the flu at the same time I was hit. I'm fine. I'm fine. Even with Chytil back, the Canucks are still, like they were all offseason, still in the market for a center. Third, fourth line, second line if possible, but they're still going to be looking for a center. So it's not just the Chytil injury. This isn't like a total overreaction. But at the same time, it is, because with Chytil gone, we're all freaking out. Who the hell is going to take the role of second line center? A team can be good with 2 third line centers, right? That's happened before, and I'm fine with that. In fact, that's kind of what we were just doing with Blueger and Chytil, although Blueger isn't really a bona fide third line center, although he's... Okay, let's break this down. Pettersson may or may not be back. Chytil's injured. Blueger's injured. Hughes' future is in question. If they do make a trade, it's very likely we're not going to like it at first. Let's say they do get Zacha, but they say goodbye to their first-round pick and Verlander. There's a lot of people that are going to hate that kind of trade, truly. And it is a question, like, do you try to make the team, like, okay, oh my God, I'm freaking out here, guys, help. If you remove the Hughes equation, let's just say Hughes is locked in for 8 years, no move clause, there's no worries, okay? If you remove that, I think we're looking at this season totally differently. Coots just surprised everybody, and it looks like he's going to be a NHL center as soon as next season. Then you have Willander coming up, and you even have Kudryavtsev and Minio, Mancini, Lekromaki up front. It's not like the Canucks are flush with tons of incredible prospects, but if Hughes was here and there was no question, and he's like, no, you guys just get good. It's fine. I'm here for 8 years. I feel like they would be not moving first-round picks and prospects. But man, I just, as a fan too, like, not only do I not want Hughes to go, but the taste of the playoffs we had a couple years ago was so nice. It's a high I'm going to be chasing until we get there again. And I can't make my mind up, okay? I don't know. Do the Canucks, what do they do? What do they do? Do they trade Hughes? Okay, now I'm losing it. Yeah, I'm definitely losing it. Let me know what you guys would do in this situation. Do you make a trade right now? Do you tough it out and make a trade later, wait for the market to cool down a bit, prove that you're not as desperate as everybody thinks you are? Do you not make a trade at all and just wait? I mean, that one sounds silly, but it very well could be what happens. And if you do want to make a trade, who are you looking at? Pavel Zacha, Alex Wennberg, JG Pajot, Lucas Reichel? Anyways, okay. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think. You're witnessing a therapy session happening right now, because this started as me telling you this planned trade proposal that I had, and it spiraled into me screaming about Quinn Hughes' future. So yeah, I imagine it might be a good episode based on some of the comments I've read when my other episodes get out of hand like this. Let's move on, okay? Looking ahead, so for me, Nashville game hasn't happened yet. Here's my prediction, all right? What you guys watched last night was a beautiful team effort from a depleted roster, although Besser's back in the lineup, so that's good, but still depleted, especially down the middle. You watched the team come together as one, everybody working hard, everybody forechecking, everybody finishing their checks for the most part, disciplined. And when they did take penalties, they killed them off. The power play got going. 2 power play goals happened, actually. One of them was scored by Pettersson. A nice little 3-1 victory over the Nashville Predators. Did I get it right?
No, you didn't, brother. You didn't get it right at all.
JT Miller is back in Vancouver next Tuesday for the first time since being traded to the Rangers. And I've seen a lot of people talking about what the response will be from the fans in the arena. If I were at the game, I'd be cheering, especially when they do the little tribute in between whistles. I'll cheer loud. I'll get up and I'll clap for him for sure. I'm not going to be there, so I'll just be doing it in my living room. But yeah, I mean, I think he deserves a standing ovation from the crowd. But I did see, I think it was Halford and Brough, throwing around the idea of JT Miller chants. Not that they were suggesting to do it. They were more just speculating whether or not we'll hear JT Miller chants, because that kind of became a thing while he was a Canuck. Now, if it does happen, I hope it's only during his tribute, because if the crowd starts chanting JT Miller at any other point, I'm going to feel sick to my stomach. Miller's no longer a Canuck. Imagine if why can't I think of anybody? Oh my God, I can't even think of a single player in the league that's not a Canuck. Imagine if the Oilers came to town and everyone started chanting Adam Henrique. You know? That would be weird. Give him a standing O when his tribute happens. Chant his name there if you must. But after that, you're playing against a New York Ranger, okay, guys? We got to get over it. He's not on the Canucks anymore. He really isn't. However, I will say, this just came to my mind. I forgot about this. Speaking of ex-Canucks that we still love, for the most part, Bo Horvat, man. I don't know where this feeling came from. Actually, I do. What am I talking about? It came from the exact thing I've been talking about this whole episode. I miss Bo Horvat, and it just hit me in the last few days. I was happy with what we got in return, though, okay? First round pick, Atu Ratu, flip that first round pick to get Hronek. Basically, Horvat for Hronek. Given the Canucks roster at the time, it was honestly the perfect trade. However, we didn't see the Miller shit happening. We didn't see that coming. I wish we could go back in time and just trade Miller, man. I don't want to be like that, though. I don't want to be such a woulda, coulda, shoulda. In fact, I'm rarely like that, so I'll lean into this a little bit. I miss Horvat, dude. I wish he was still a Canuck. Get him back somehow. Reacquire Miller and then trade Miller for Horvat. I don't know. But yeah, so Miller's coming back on Tuesday. Crowd's going to do whatever the crowd does. I just hope the Canucks win, and I hope Pettersson scores. For the sake of our team and the future of this roster, if Pettersson scores and Miller doesn't, I just think it'd be great. It'd be a little silencer to the people who claim they still cheer for the Canucks while simultaneously hating on one of the faces of the team. I understand there's frustration, and I get that, but frustration is why is it an okay excuse when we're talking about sports? But if you're on the bus and an old lady asks you for a seat and that makes you a little frustrated because you're carrying all your groceries and you scream at her, do you think telling the people around you that are about to throw you off that bus that you were just frustrated, and even though it makes sense why you were frustrated because you had all these groceries, do you think they're going to be like, you're frustrated. Yeah, no, I get it. Stay on the bus. Let's all scream at the old lady. No. And in this situation, Pettersson is the old lady. Oh, man, I didn't sleep too much last night. I was editing that video. You guys scared about AI? You guys scared about artificial intelligence? How are you feeling about that? Are you scared? Are you excited? Let me know. Anyway, Miller's coming back on Tuesday. What else? I was going to give you guys some injury updates. Unfortunately, there is none. Everybody is still question mark, especially Chytil. It's weird. I've never wished that a stranger's ribs were broken, but I have been. Every day I wake up and I'm saying, please, please, Chytil's ribs be broken, please, because that would be a lot better than a concussion. For the sake of the team, for sure, but also, I mean, this man's life. I don't want him to have to deal with another concussion. That would be terrible. Okay, well, that's where I'm going to leave this episode. Thanks for listening. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing. I appreciate you guys. Go Canucks, go. Bye.